tonight's edition of the FATSIDE Footy podcast, Clarko's cold call comes good. Bombers burn up on re-entry. Do the Saints have an almighty dilemma? And just where does the rough rank? All that and more on this week's edition of the FATSIDE. Yes, a big welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another ripping edition of the FATSIDE Footy podcast. Oh, I'm joined by a very grumpy man this week, my good friend Bob. Welcome, Bob. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. We'll get it out of the way early.
Yeah, up the doggies.
It's pretty hard to be proud of Saturday night. The melancholy hasn't quite subsided for me yet. It's the lowest I've ever felt on a Wednesday, and I once spent 24 hours inside Revolver.
Gee, yeah, that's nasty for anyone involved.
Look, mate, my bloody team. I haven't seen such a poor defensive strategy since the trial of Oscar Pistorius.
Oh, wow.
And Woosha. I haven't seen such a lifeless leader since JFK. Look, let's try and get through these results without me shedding a tear. Friday saw the Hawks trample the Giants in Canberra. There was more snow than a Keith Richards house party, and BT frothed it. BT loved the white stuff, the old bristle, didn't he?
Took him back to his heyday, I think, Bob.
Look, Clarko enforced the short sleeve policy like Stalin on the Western Front, and it worked. Psychological war won quite early on. The game was up for grabs pretty much all the way through the first half, but the Hawks led at the main break by 13 points. From there, GWS managed just 3 points, ended up losing 85-29. They did lose Hopper as a late out to a hamstring issue, the Giants, and that meant the Hawks pretty much owned the middle. A dominant game from Warple, 31 and 8 clearances. Sicily added 33 at 78%. Isaac Smith had 28 and 10 inside 50s with a goal. Toby Green battled valiantly with 38 and 20 contested, but not much else to say about the Giants players on Friday night. Didn't look like a finals team, but they were far from the worst of the weekend.
Absolutely, and to touch on the no long sleeve policy, see the ironic thing on the weekend with Jared Ruffin. He wore a long sleeve in the VFL.
Yeah, hilarious.
Very cheeky.
Very cheeky. The next game, Collingwood. They limped slightly closer towards September with an easy win over Melbourne. They were up 42 at the start of the last quarter. They allowed the Demons to close the game strongly, but the Pies still won 70-53. The Gawn-Grundy spectacle didn't quite eventuate for me. It was my looking forward to. Neither really managed to get on top of the other. But interestingly, Goodwin forced Gawn to do a strong tag on Grundy. An odd move, considering that he ended up letting Sidebum roam around freely around the middle and just caused havoc.
Yep.
He finished as Collingwood's highest rated player, still side bottom. Treloar got his 30-plus touches and added 6 clearances. Myercheck led the goal kicking with 4 snags. Pendle was efficient and damaging, 23 at 91% and 2 goals. Brayshaw was probably the best for the Ds for me, 26 and a goal. Oliver was solid with 29 and 7 clearances. And I really actually liked the look of Oscar McDonald across half forward. His endeavour in attack was pretty noticeable, despite only nabbing 1 goal as a reward. The Demons lost Stephen Loves-a-Schoon May to a hammy. That'll finish off his piss-poor season in style.
Yeah.
I did learn something on Saturday. The Swannies, they aren't mid-rebuild. They are only just hitting rock bottom.
Yep.
6 losses in a row now, sitting at 15th, and for me, they've lost their identity.
Yep.
They haven't won the contested possessions or clearances in any game for 5 weeks, and the Power strolled to victory after halftime, kicking 8 goals 6 to 3 goals 4 to win by 47 points. Massive game from young Connor Rosie. Clearly the Power's best. He had 20 at 80%, 3 goals 1 and 2 goal assists as well. Peter Laddams, who's keeping Lysette out, was very impressive and agile for a big chassis. And the angry sauce guzzler Charlie Dixon, he had 3 goals, and Robbie Gray led the clearance work with 10 from his 21 disposals. For the Swannies, it's not all doom and gloom. Heaney, in my opinion, has elevated himself to a bona fide A-grader status this year. He's going to end up breaking his season personal bests for total disposals, marks, contested marks, goals, and marks inside 50. So he finished with 20 and 2 goals. Ollie Florent led the clearance work with 9 to go with 29 touches, albeit at 52%. Menzel had chances to tear it up, but finished with 2 goals, 3. Look, Port's still in the hunt for September, but the Swannies are only in the hunt for hope right about now. Then the Brisbane Lions hosted their Q clash with the Suns. They put them in the spin cycle and ended up giving them a 2-hour bath. The Suns did take advantage of a slack fourth quarter throttle ease off by the Lions, kicking 4 goals to finish with 8 goals 5, but Brisbane's 22 goals 12 meant they won by 91 points. Charlie Cameron grabbed a haul of 6 major snags. Lions finished with 34 and 2 goals. Madman Mitch Robinson led the clearances with 8 to go with 28 touches and a goal. Lachie Neale took a rare night off, only 21 touches at 71%.
Jeez. Quite one. Still get 3 votes though, I'm sure.
For the Suns, Swallow was the standout. He led the disposals, the contested possessions, the clearances, and he had 2 goals.
Yeah, not bad.
Sam Day was a rare pass mark in a game like that. 4 contested marks, 2 goals and a goal assist. But Stewie Dew and the boys look like they're itching for the end of the season right now.
Absolutely. And Bob, without further ado, the next game, please.
Well, this is what that smug bastard has been waiting all night for. Look, I'm sure some of you are happy too. The Dons were embarrassed on Saturday night by the Doggies to the tune of 104 points.
How many?
104
That is,
points.
That's unbelievable. I'm still pinching myself, Bob. I've never seen us kick 21 goals in a game.
Look, the Dogs, they caused more carnage than Ted Bundy on campus. And it was more painful for the Bombers than going on a hike with Ivan Milat.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, it was a straight-up slaughter.
Yep.
And the
Sure
Bombers,
was.
to my utter disgust, we flew the white flag well before the final
They ask you
siren.
how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
John Worsfold and almost every player copped it without so much as a yelp. However, there were 2 worthy of respect, Zach Merritt and Paddy Ambrose for me.
Yep.
Merritt had 33 at 80% and 650 metres gained. Ambrose gave Norton the blanket most of the night, made him the least impactful forward for the Dogs. However, the young gun emerged with 2 goals when the dust had settled. The Dogs kicked 21 snags in a row, and the best of the night was young Dunkley, 39, 22 contested, 5 clearances. Loved his work. Toby McLean had one of his best games of the year.
Yep.
3 goals, 1, and 22 at 90%. Bont led the clearances and the tackles with 7 and 8 respectively. McRae shrugged off bath time with Dylan Clark. He finished with 38 and a goal. And in the end, the Doggies won the disposal count by over 100.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
The contested possessions by over 30. And the inside 50s by 29.
Yeah, that's an absolute ramming if I ever
As
saw
per
one.
usual, they won the free kicks too.
Yeah. Of course, mate. First to the footy.
First to the footy,
What do we
apparently.
always say, Bob? First to the footy, mate. Hey, Josh Dunkley.
Yes.
He's making a real late run for our BNF, I think.
Thank God I took him as a super coach selection in a keeper league.
Yeah,
Laughing.
no, fantastic.
Look, if you didn't like what you saw and you flicked over to the other game on Saturday night, there wasn't anything good to see there either.
Nope.
North's newly signed coach Rhys Shaw delivered the lowest final score ever against the Cats, losing 69-14.
Setting records already. Okay?
Believe it or not, these 2 teams were neck and neck midway through the second. The Roos dished this up off the back of Scotty Thompson announcing his retirement as well.
Yep.
Poor fella, it looked like his busted agate from a few weeks ago relocated itself to his forehead. How was that?
Yeah, I swear he was in The Hills Have Eyes too.
That was a
fella.
huge hematoma. Poor old Scotty Thompson. He's taken a few lumps, clearly,
he has.
and lost a few
I
almost.
think that's just developed from the stranglehold Barry Hall had on him 10 years ago. But
Look, the Roos managed 3 points in the second half, but 0 points in the fourth quarter. The Cats kicked 6 goals, 6. Look, they weren't overly convincing either. The Catters, Ryan Myers slotted 3 goals, 1, and youngster Quinton Narkle was excellent, 21, 6 clearances and 2 goals, 2. Todd Goldstein was the lone goal scorer for North, despite 4 marks inside 50. Cunners led the clearances with 6, but truly there's nothing great at all to take away from this for North. In the round of crucifixions, they deserve to be right there beside the Bombers on top of Golgotha Hill.
yep.
Sunday finally delivered a cracking game when St Kilda's Josh Bruce kicked the sealer in the last minute to beat the Freo Dockers by 3 points at Marvel.
Up towards the half-forward flank. Here we go. Hind from 50. He goes for the chip kick, and the mark has been taken. Josh Bruce hasn't scored today, and he has now to put St Kilda in front.
The return of Hannah's and Stephen had a bit of a fairy tale feel about it. Both of them had multiple goals. Hannah's first half was very influential.
Fantastic. Kicked his first goal as a Saint too.
Yeah, it was brilliant stuff to see. He finished with 23 at 87% and 2 goals.
Yep.
Jack Stephen had 22 and 3 goals, whilst Rowan Marshall, a big scare, going down with a knee, but returned to fight it out. For Freo, the hottest midfielder in the game right now is Nat Fyfe. He carried his team nearly to another victory. He exploded either side of the first quarter siren, kicking 2 goals and recording 7 inside 50s in about 20 minutes. He finished with 35, 16 contested, and 11 inside 50s in total. Ed Langdon, very strong performance from him, 28 at 86% and a goal. And Big Sandy punished poor Rowan Marshall. He's since announced his retirement, 270 games for the Big Tree, and he holds the hit-out record. Over 8,000 hit-outs in his career. Amazing stuff from the Big Sandy.
Yep.
Look, Freo fielded a backline with less than 200 games combined experience, Jacko.
Yeah.
So, look, had they
Crazy.
won, surely the heat goes straight back onto St Kilda.
Yep.
Not being able to exploit such an inexperienced backline.
Yep.
Then we flicked over to the Tigers and the Blues at the G. They lost Dusty pre-game. Still too strong for the Navy Blues in the end, winning at the G by 28 points and ticking off the 4th leg of Bob's Multi. Thanks, fellas. Probably due for a new nickname, I am, with that kind of return. Yeah. You can call me the ATM, mate. That might work. Spitting out cash over here.
Get your hand off it there.
Regulation wet weather game on Sunday and a regulation win it was for Richmond. 2 classy in the end. Big games from Shane Edwards in his 250th, 27 and 9 tackles. Prestia had 35 and 10 clearances, but Jack Graham was definitely best on ground. 22, 14 tackles, 4 major snags. King Cripper didn't get his chance to dance with Dusty, and he did run rampant with 37 and 21 contested, but he was largely ineffective with his touches, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, he's about 50%, wasn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
The Blues had 5 of the top 6 possession getters on the day, but still lost the disposal count.
That's remarkable.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
and they
it is.
butchered the footy. Kerno, Cripps, Simpson and Murphy all had below 59% disposal efficiency.
Wow.
And only 1 goal between them to Smurfer. Not a great performance, but to hold a premiership fancy to 73 points on their home deck is still a tick fatigue in my opinion. Last game, thank God for it. It was West Coast versus the Crows. It was a ripper. The Crows were carefully chipping the ball around, high possession game. It kept them in the hunt against the Weagles, but the cream rose to the top in the third. West Coast kicked 5 goals, 3 to 2 goals to the Crows. That built them a winning buffer. 3 goals and 2 goal assists to Big Jack Darling. Gaff and Shuey each had 29 touches apiece. Gaff collecting 10 clearances. Young Oscar Allen secured the NAB Rising Star nod with 3 goals and 6 tackles. In truth, he robbed young Darcy Fogarty.
Yeah.
He emerged out of the dungeon where Don Fritzl Pike stashes the kids.
Don Fritzl Pike.
You cannot be serious!
Look, he banged home 5 goals, 5 straight in a dominant forward display. I really liked his swagger. His set shot kicking looked elite for a young player as well.
Matthew Lloyd said he's the most accurate kick for goal in the game after that weekend.
It was great watching him kick him. He kicked him like Carey. I loved it. Loved watching it. He added 7 marks and a goal assist as well. So responsible for 6 of their goals. Matty Crouch, straight leather poisoning for him. 43 and 9 clearances. His brother Brad added 32 and a goal. But the Crows lost the inside 50 count by 22. So a 10-point deficit, 90 to 80. It seems fairly respectable in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. All right, Bob, after reeling off all the numbers and results from round 21, which was a massive round, I must add, what was your game of the round?
Look, the game that I'm going to take to give the analysis to, it's St Kilda versus Fremantle.
Yep.
One of the rare close ones during the week. Not one I would have identified as a candidate for game of the round before the round started. But ultimately, it's fascinating to look at these two teams who have pretty complementary years by the time it's all done. Around the same mark, some similar issues as well. Look, Rowan Marshall, love him. But he got a lesson.
Yep.
Against the Big Sandy and even Sean Darcy at times.
Yep.
So the knee scare was a little bit worrying because he is their future. And to highlight his importance, he led their clearances with 6.
He could become one of the best ruckmen in the game one day.
Could. Yeah. I think he's got exactly what it takes to challenge that. Yep. Athletic. Yep. Very athletic. Pushes forward and kicks goals too. I love it. Freo, well, their future is pretty questionable. If they lose Brad Hill without a huge return, Ed Langdon is starting to garner some interest from other clubs. Radars a little bit.
I think he's pretty keen to leave too.
He's out of contract.
Yep.
This year. Their reliance on Fife, Walters, and their missing backs in Pearce and Luke Ryan, it's really noticeable. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion rather than a clinical dissection, Jacko.
Yep.
So, which of these clubs finishes higher next year?
Fremantle. But by 1 or 2, maybe. They're both not making finals next year. But I'm saying Fremantle, they could land Tim Kelly. Tim Kelly's open to a move to Fremantle. He just wants to get back to Perth.
So look, they're going to lose Sandy.
Yep.
Mundy?
Possibly.
Like, he might go round again, but he went cold for a really long time.
Yep.
Brad and Stephen Hill.
Yep, they're gone. Yep.
Absolutely gone. So, look, they'll have a healthy Hogan.
Yep.
Walters and Taberner up forward.
Yep.
I assume that's their makeup of their forward line. Healthy back line, Luke Ryan, Alex Pearce. That's great.
That's the difference maker for me.
Yeah.
And they've got better key position players.
And Griffin Logue looks like a very good young backman.
Yeah. But if they can land Tim Kelly, that's an upgrade on Hill. However, losing Stephen Hill and possibly Ed Langdon really hurts. But their list is a bit nicer than St Kilda's at the moment. With no disrespect to St Kilda,
their lack of a pure premium player like Nat Fyfe.
Yeah.
Nat Fyfe could have won that game against St Kilda right now with a worse team almost.
Yep. I just think that Fremantle have a little bit more identity as well than St Kilda. St Kilda are a bit brandless still.
Look, I agree with that. I think St Kilda, best case scenario, they've got a healthy Hannahs, continued development of Dunstan, Loney, Steele, Billings. Seb Ross has been around 10 years now. This is the best.
10?
10 years.
Wow, okay.
This is the best he's ever going to... Webster's going to come back.
Yep.
Right, he was an important piece, but, I mean, they can't rely on Jimmy Webster.
Nah.
Lock down, anchor their back line. Membry and Savage, they're not going to get better, are they?
No.
This is the best you'll get out of them.
Yep.
So some mild improvements from their 24 to 26-year-olds.
They could land Brad Hill, though.
Well, that's the thing.
Yep.
They need a few more A-graders because Jake Carlisle re-signed.
Yeah, that's good.
It's great, isn't it? Next year's contracts are up for Josh Battle, Josh Bruce, Loney, Steele, and Akers. They're all out of contracts.
Yep.
I don't think any of them are restricted free agents. They're all out of contracts.
Yep.
So they're going to have to pay those guys, presumably. I'd probably...
Well, Josh Bruce is the absolute for me.
Yeah,
boys.
Yeah, they can't... With the loss of Paddy McCartan, you can't afford to get rid of someone like Josh Bruce. He's actually having an alright year.
Yeah.
Rats locked in, or do you think they continue the search for another coach?
I think they'll do their due diligence, but I think Ratton's the man. I think the players want him, the fans want him. Past players are quite outspoken about having him there, Rats.
On the flip side,
if
Fremantle did lose Ross Lyon, would that change your call?
If they lost Ross Lyon, it depends who they get though. If they get Brad Scott, definitely. But
rough.
Yeah. If they ended up with a
Voss.
They end up with Voss, maybe not.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
To see how they rejig that list.
Yep.
What pieces they get back for the Hill boys.
Yep.
If they do get a new coach, maybe. I mean, this is the position I think they're at. If getting rid of Ross Lyon means you keep Ed Langdon.
Yep.
Maybe you get rid of him. He's been there long enough.
Yep.
What are you going to do? Keep him for one more year to go and lose one of your top 6 or 7 players?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Look, not of a lot of analysis in the game.
Yeah.
But I did want to have a bit of a discussion because I do feel those teams are about the same mark.
Well, where do they sit? Who finishes higher for you?
I think St Kilda get a bit higher.
Yeah.
I think that Marshall will only get better. I do think Saints have room for improvement in some of those young guys. I really like Dunstan.
Yep.
Hunter Clark seems like he's trying to make a spot for himself too.
Nick Caulfield's got a way to go, but he looks good.
Yeah, and that Nick Hine they've been giving games to, so they're going to have 30 half-decent players who are going to challenge each other for spots.
Yep.
Freo can't say that.
No.
That's why they fielded one of the most inexperienced backlines ever on the weekend.
Yeah. I do love Andrew Brayshaw, though. Whew.
Yeah, he'll be good once he gets up and going. I'm pretty sure of it. All right, mate. Well, that's my game of the round. Now it's time for the Fat Side MVP votes. All right, mate. Why don't you kick us off with your first vote this week?
All right, my first vote goes to probably this year's runner-up in the Rising Star. It's Connor Rosie from Port Adelaide. 20 disposals, 10 contested at 80%, 3 big snags, 4 inside 50s. A very good game. Arguably Port's best player on ground in their demoralisation of the Sydney Swans. My 2 votes. Josh Dunkley of the Western Bulldogs. 39 disposals, 22 of them contested at 69%. He kicked a goal, 5 clearances and 4 at the stoppage.
They all kicked a goal.
Yeah. But really good game from Josh Dunkley once again. My 3 votes. Richmond's Jack Graham.
Nice.
He gets 22 disposals at 73%. 4 huge goals when they needed them the most, just to space that margin. That was a fantastic effort from Jack Graham. But this is what really, really revved my engine. 14 tackles.
Oh, it's huge.
And 4 of them inside 50. So that just tells you his forward craft's fantastic.
It's the Richmond brand.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic.
Dimmer would have frothed that.
Oh, yeah.
He would have gone home and said hello to Mrs. Hardwick.
Mrs. Hardwick
after
and be
seeing
like,
that.
oh, Jack Graham, did you see him, sweetheart? You should have been like, yes,
Send him a thank you memo. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's enough about the Hardwicks. My 4 votes. This was tough, my 4 or 5 votes. My 4 votes goes to Matt Crouch of the Adelaide Crows. 43 disposals at 70%, 9 clearances, 7 inside 50s, 4 rebound 50s. He was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, really rated his game. I could have given him 3. I could have given him 5. I really didn't know where to put him, so I put him in the middle. Can I already tell you a stiff to miss? My 2 stiff to misses are James Warple.
Very
and,
stiff.
Jack Darling. Fantastic game from him. And there was a couple of others as well. But my 5 votes, I've got to give it to him. It's Nat 5.
Mama, there goes that man.
It's 35 disposals, 16 of them contested at 69%, carrying the Freo Dockers almost across the line away from home, where they're pretty putrid on record.
Agreed.
Yeah. 11 inside 50s and 2 goal assists. He was just everywhere. He's a gun. And for mine, he finishes top 3 in the Brownlow this year. I reckon he could win it. Oh, wait, hang on. Earlier in the season, he had a few injuries, didn't he?
He did. He's missed a few games through injury.
Yeah, that sucks.
But, I mean, the question is, does
It's
he get...
his recent form. I feel like he'd get 3 votes every week, nearly.
Yeah, a lot of them are still losing games, though, so it's hard to know.
Yeah, so maybe a few 2 votes in there. Maybe I'm being a bit optimistic for my my man love for one Natalie Fife. But, Nat Fife, congrats, mate. Bob, your votes, mate.
All right, mate. Well, my first vote, same as you, the Rising Star runner-up for the year, Connor Rosie. Look, like you said, he had 20 touches and half of them were contested, so I loved that. A couple of clearances in there as well.
Yep.
So he really did some damage. He ripped that game apart across half forward. You can see what all the hype is about after watching a game like that.
Yep.
My 2 votes, it goes to Charlie Cameron.
Nice.
Dazzling forward display. 10 touches for 6 goals won. It's a personal best for him, the 6 goals.
Yep.
It's the pinnacle of damaging to be that impactful with that few touches. Not even Cyril did that.
Yeah, I was about to say it's Cyril-esque.
Yeah, we talk about Cyril being the best 10-touch player in the game. Cyril never had 10 touches and 6 goals.
Remarkable.
It's absolutely fascinating, man. So to think that that's the league that Charlie Cameron's operating in right now, it's amazing. Amazing stuff.
How glad is he right now that he left the Sinking Crows?
So glad.
He'd be so happy.
Yeah, and watching the internal turmoil that they're going through.
Yeah.
And wondering where the selection chopping block might have fallen for him.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
My 3 votes, it goes to your boy Josh Dunkley. Ran amok all night, 22 contested and a goal. It was elite. He might get most improved player of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's come from the fringes as a young man and exploded. Not even 50 games yet? 50 games?
Yeah, I feel like he played his 50th
60.
game earlier in the year.
Yeah, maybe about 60 games then. Okay.
But he was just a half-forward flanker.
Yeah.
Like, we just sat him... He wasn't quite ready yet, but God, is he ready?
Toby McLean was better than him last year.
Yeah.
What a joke. Look, my 4 votes, it goes to Jack Graham.
Nice.
4 goals in a row within 25 minutes and 3 goal assists. So he's responsible for 7 of their 11 goals on the day. That's huge.
Massive.
Career best game for
Yep.
sure. And all those things you mentioned on brand with what the Tigers and Dimmer wants. My 5 votes, it's Nat 5.
Mama, there goes that man.
2 goals won, 2 goal assists. Very critical. He's incredibly damaging. He willed his team again. He contributed to over 50% of their score for the day. And there was a point where the commentators were saying St Kilda must not kick it near Nat 5. Like, that's how much of an impact
Amazing.
one man can have, despite the fact there's 35 others out there on the field. Not too many blokes can say that week in, week out, and he is one of them. So that's my votes for this week. Nat Fife has had 15 votes in the last 2 weeks.
Amazing.
So he's jumped all the way up in the leaderboard. He is only trailing Grundy and Cripps by 7 votes now. So there is only 2 weeks left. They're up against my boy, so I hope he has a stinker. Yeah. Absolute stinker. But
I don't think he will, man, at home.
no, he'll tear it up.
Could have 40 and 40 goals.
I'm very afraid. So that's the leaderboard. Look, Cripps still leading the way. Grundy very close behind him. It's still anyone's award to win. I'm sure they're going to try their best once they know they're in contention for the FATSIDE MVP.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your weekly temperature dilemma that Bob throws my way. It's Bobby's famous hot and cold.
Alrighty. Well, a few close ones, mate. Look, we did in our hot last week.
Yep.
We had Dusty in there, and he was laid out. So, do you know if he's due back in this week?
Yeah, I think he was just managed.
Right.
And they'd want him back in against the West Coast Eagles.
Absolutely, they would. So, look, I'll give you a chance. Would you like to run it back? The line was 30 touches, 5 clearances, and a goal. Do you think he can do that against West Coast?
Yes. Yep.
We'll lock that in.
Yep. He'll need to.
All right. The other one I gave you hot last week was Mitch Robinson. He needed 24, 10 contested, and to give away 2 free kicks or less. He had 28, 12 contested, and only gave away 2 free kicks. So well done,
Yes!
Jacko.
Yep,
That is
your
minus
team.
a froth.
Oh, 14 froths now.
This week for my running hot.
He's heating up. He's on fire.
It's one of your young fellas. It's Bailey Dale. Look, so the numbers, he hasn't played a lot of games this year.
Yep.
However, he entered the side in round 10. In the preceding month, which included a bye, he averaged 12, 2.5 marks, and he kicked 1 goal, 2 total. In the 4 games since he returned in round 18, he has averaged 14, 4.5 marks, and kicked a total of 13 goals, 4.
That's awesome.
It's a great return from a young fella. Can he deliver versus the Giants? I'm after 2 goals and 4 marks.
Yep. Yes.
Lock that in?
Yep. He's running hot, Bob.
Love it. My next one, running hot this week.
He's heating up. He's on fire.
It's another forward. It's Brody Myercheck. He went ice cold in the loss to GWS.
Yep.
Not that long ago. But since then, he's averaged 7 marks, 3 contested marks,
Wow.
and 2.5 goals per game.
Where are we? He's running hot, Bob.
He looks great without De Goey in that forward line.
Yep.
He had 4 goals on the weekend. I want to know, can he carry on for 3 goals and 3 contested marks versus the Crows?
Yes. Yep.
All right, we'll lock that in. Now, for my running cold last week, I had your boy, Lockie Hunter.
Yep.
He was in the mix. He needed 26 at 78% and 7 contested versus the Dons. You said yes.
Yep.
It was a training drill. So he had 34.
Yep.
11 contested. 77% disposal efficiency. That's my only victory for Saturday night. And I'll take it. Thanks for the froth. You flog eat a dick. All right, my other one was Rory Atkins. Wanted to know if he could get 20, 2 inside 50s, and 1 scoreboard impact stat. You said yes. He had 4 inside 50s, 3 score impact stats, 18 touches. So 2 touches short. That'll cost you a froth as well.
God damn it.
So 16 froths year to date. That's where you're at. All right, this week for my running cold.
You're as cold as ice.
Travis Boak. Right, so he was in Charlie contention early on in the year. The last 2 weeks, he's completely faded.
Yep.
Year to date, minus the last 2 weeks, he's averaged 32, 15 contested, 7 clearances. That's huge.
Yeah. It's bizarre considering their form.
The last 2 weeks, he's averaging 18, 9 contested, 5 clearances. Will he lift in what is clearly a mini final versus North Melbourne? I want 27, 14 contested, 6 clearances.
Yeah.
Lock
You'll
it
run
in?
amok on the weekend at Marvel. Yep.
Nice, like the confidence. My next one, running cold this week.
You're as cold as ice.
It's another warhorse veteran midfielder. It's Josh Kennedy of the Sydney Swans. The Swanee stalwart, he started his decline at 31, in my opinion. I've taken out 2 injury-affected games from these stats.
Don't think he ever recovered from the 2016 grand final.
Say that again.
Arguably Norm Smith, though.
Look, for the year versus the last 2 weeks, 28 disposals down to 22 average. 4.5 inside 50s down to 2. 13 contested down to 9. 6 clearances down to 4. And only 5 goals he's gotten for the year. It's his lowest scoreboard output since his rookie year, where he had 4 goals in 10 games.
Wow.
So he's not pushing forward and kicking goals at
He's
all
in
anymore.
Hawthorn form at the moment.
Look, can he challenge Melbourne and get 25 touches, 12 contested, and 6 clearances on Friday night?
No.
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 I like it.
I think Melbourne will beat them, that's why.
Yeah, be side by side with Brayshaw, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Depend on who's
And
hungrier.
he's not in the best form ever. Let's be honest.
No, not at all.
So, still a no. No, he hasn't won me over much at all this year.
Yeah, it might be slipping. It's time to find a replacement for Sydney, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, that was hot and cold for this week. Now, this is the part where you love the most. It is time for Wisdom or Waffle.
You cannot be be serious! I am smart. S-M-R-T.
All right, every week, Jack and I reel off a few quotes and questions at each other that we've trawled through the media landscape to bring you guys, and we decide whether they're wisdom or whether they are waffle. Jackie boy, I'll kick us off.
Yep.
My first one is from John Worsfold. Woosha, when asked about his demeanour during the match, he said the vision shown was maybe 2% of the match, and that criticisms of his apathy were, quote, a cheap shot. Wisdom or waffle?
Waffle. Because they showed him more than 2% of the game, and he wasn't doing much. He wasn't wearing his headset, and he had his arms crossed. It was terrible body language. It was pretty careless body language. Looked like he couldn't even be bothered thinking of any ideas. Like, it was just too late. You know, they're 10 goals down, whatever. Arguably, I feel like he kind of allowed it to get worse. He's a hard man to read, and quite frankly, I don't really like the way he goes about it with the media either. Very sarcastic, very passive, aggressive at times as well. So yeah, that's waffle for me. I heard that on radio as well. I didn't really agree with him. However, I do think the media are out to get him at the moment real hard. And it's funny how it ebbs and flows. You know, he was the man 3 weeks ago again.
Yeah, there's got in a loss like that, there has to be something to say about the coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was, I mean, visually, it wasn't great.
No.
He might be right. You know, it might only be a few %
Yep.
of the vision. It's clearly been put together to show him specifically not talking.
Yeah.
But he didn't do much.
Cheap shots.
Cheap shots too far.
Yeah, it's too defensive, mate.
If he said that's not relevant, I would have thought, yeah, it's probably wisdom. It's not relevant, but it wasn't a cheap shot.
Nah, cop your whack, mate. You lost by 100 points.
Yeah, critical moments right
points.
after a goal. They flicked across to him and he was doing nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you on that one. What do you got for me, mate?
All right, Bob. It's from the lips of your favourite man, Mick Malthouse.
Ooh.
The AFL has an ageism problem, and they don't give second chances to try experienced coaches. Sort of went on to elaborate, you know, example, Dean Laidley, Neil Craig, you know, these guys. Yeah, wisdom or waffle?
It's not necessarily wisdom,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's necessarily waffle.
Yeah.
I'd have to think through on a case-by-case basis where they, you know, have given guys a second crack or not. To be true.
Well, I think he was given 4 or 5 cracks.
Well, no. I mean, they put Kevin Sheedy at the helm of their baby.
Yep.
And he was not a young man. And he was a little bit outed unceremoniously at Essendon.
Yeah.
You know, his last few years weren't the greatest years. And it was, you know, the game's passed you by and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, he could have walked away. That could have been the end of it. I think good coaches know when the right time to walk away is.
Yep.
Lee Matthews is an example of that. Paul Roos is arguably an example of that.
Yep.
There's a lot of good coaches that have walked away at the right time. I think Mick is just one of those people that, this is going to sound harsh, I don't know if he can do anything else. I think he needs that control. He needs to have that God desire satiated within himself.
Yep.
And he's desperate to get back into the mix, probably because life on the outside is unfulfilling. And like we've spoken about in the past, he doesn't seem to have many friends, and he's not getting any media gigs.
Yeah.
So going back to what he knows and loves and what he's good at, what he's only ever really been good at, not to have a fair crack, but that's half his life that he's been doing that.
Yep.
He's trying to find every excuse under the sun to apply pressure and maybe get his name into the mix again. But comments like that makes him the head of a club that includes Brendan McCartney, Grant Thomas, Dean Laidley, like Choco Williams, whatever, mate.
Neil Craig.
No one's interested in those guys.
Yeah.
And most of them are assistants, and you're not.
Chris Connolly.
So I'm pretty sure, you know, they're happy doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah. No, fair call, Bob. Fair call.
All right, mate, my next one, it's from Caro.
Yep.
She mentioned on Monday night on Footy Classified that the AFL hierarchy were unimpressed with Leon Cameron's resume while at the helm of their Ferrari, referencing mostly the player retention and lack of success. The next day, Gill tried to leverage Stephen Cornelio to stay put. So, wisdom or waffle, the AFL and Gill are right to intervene around player retention and coaching of the Giants.
Oh, waffle. Stay out of it. That's club business. At the end of the day, it's a business. Agents speak to agents. Coaches sometimes speak to coaches. But you know what I mean? Like, stay out of it. You're the administration. You're not the club. And you're not bigger than the clubs. You are on paper because you're in charge of the league, but you're not bigger than the club. So, that's waffle for me. I was really annoyed by Gillon McLaughlin's comments, which makes me hope that Stephen Cornelio packs his bags as soon as he can, just out of spite of those ridiculous comments. Desperate comments too. I don't like it. He's not begging Tim Kelly to stay in Geelong. Last year he didn't go, hey, Lachie Neal, I want you to stay at Freo. I know it's their baby, but don't come out and start giving your opinion on players leaving clubs.
Yeah, I don't think he begged Gary Ablett to stay instead of going home.
Exactly right. Yeah. And, you know...
What do you reckon about Caro's mail
Yeah.
that the AFL's unimpressed with Leon Cameron's job?
I don't like that either. I think
Me
Leon
either.
Cameron's done a fantastic job.
I think if there's word getting out to journalists
Yeah.
that the AFL's unimpressed with a particular coach,
Yeah.
I think they're too invested.
Far too invested.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And to be honest, Matt, I don't want to see GWS win a premiership. I don't want 20,000 at the G on Griffon.
Well,
no, but you know what I mean? Like,
You're right, though. I mean,
yeah.
like they've got one of their twin babies. One's barely survived the delivery.
Yep.
And the other one looks like it might have a problem growing up.
Yeah.
So they're desperate to make one of them succeed, and that desperation it reeks right now.
Yeah.
From Gil's comments.
Yeah, absolutely. And, didn't like it at all, mate. So, yeah, waffle for mine. Bob, this is from the lips of me. Carlton are not offering Dale Thomas another contract for 2020. That's career over for Daisy. Wisdom or waffle?
Wisdom, that's definitely career over. I don't think they should offer him a contract.
I think he's done okay.
Anyway, he actually played really well on the weekend.
Yeah. But I think apart from his little alcohol gate earlier in the year, I think his leadership's been pretty good on field. I think he's a really good presence for those young
This
kids.
is his best year he's had at Carlton.
Yeah, it's a real shame, I know.
Yeah, it is a real shame.
You know, I mean, remember the player he was at one stage at Collingwood?
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's nearly 10 years ago, though.
I
now.
know. Yeah,
It's a long time, man.
I'd argue that he'd earned himself one more year.
See, I don't feel the same way as you. Do you think
But
Jordan...
would Gold Coast give him a year contract?
So Melbourne,
That's what I mean.
Melbourne last year thought Jordan
His career
Lewis
over.
had earned one more year.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like he should be out there this year.
Nah.
So I think that's the risk you take is like, okay, we've given him another contract and now we're kind of desperate to play him because of lack of depth.
Yeah.
But
Well, could you pay him peanuts and send him up to Gold Coast for a year?
I
just for a veteran?
suppose you could, but I don't know how much Daisy offers, to tell you the truth. He offers significantly less than someone like Sean Burgoyne and the other names that have been bandied around.
Yeah, he's not even in the same ilk as them at all.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's it for Daisy.
Well, you know, respectable career.
Respectable.
First half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, mate, my last one. Now, this might be a little bit complicated, but it came from Nicky Del Santo today. It's been confirmed just this afternoon that Robert Harvey will interview for the Saints' vacant head coaching position.
Yep.
Nicky Dell said, should they end up choosing Rats over Halves, that Halves will never return to the club, since he also applied when they ended up choosing Scotty Waters. So, wisdom or waffle, the Saints should appoint a club legend instead of a caretaker.
I agree with Nicky Dow. He won't return to Moorabbin at all.
So do you think, at the risk of losing possibly the greatest player they've ever had, do they give him the head coaching job?
No.
It's such a big call. It's so hard.
So in relation to this, I don't know whether this is wisdom or waffle. Give me a couple.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Yeah. I might even decide for myself when I explain what I also heard. I've heard that St Kilda fans have been calling Talkback Radio saying it'd be best that he doesn't get the head coaching job. One of the callers says, "Look, all coaches end up sacked. He'd feel sick to the stomach if Robert Harvey was to be sacked by the Saints as head coach." But then Gary Lyon, in response to this caller, said, "Yeah, but what if he's the man that lifts the next premiership for St Kilda?"
Well, that's it.
Yeah. So there's the risk and there's the payoff. I mean, imagine. So in fact, I love romance in football. I'm going to say wisdom because I would think there'd be nothing sweeter for long battling Saints fans than Robert Harvey lifting the next premiership cup.
Well, he's an assistant at Collingwood.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah, so he's at a successful club.
Yep.
We can say they're fairly successful over the last decade, and he's seen the list mismanagement.
Yep.
And probably how they've had some front office turmoil.
Yep.
Personality clashes. So he knows all the things to avoid.
Yep.
And how they've gone about getting it right.
Yep.
I think that's invaluable experience.
Yeah.
Brett Ratton's not to be looked past lightly.
Yeah, and on the Brett Ratton thing, so I'm saying wisdom for the romance of it. The risk involved's huge. However, there's always risk. That's business, that's life, that's sport. However, Brett Ratton, if he doesn't get the Saints job, he will have a job in 2020, and I think it'll either be Essendon or Fremantle.
Yeah, he can come to Essendon, mate. I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it right
but
now.
Essendon or Fremantle, there could be a little plot twist. There could be more there could be more to come here.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. As soon as Gary Lyon said how good it would be if Harvey was the next man to hold the cup up as coach of the Saints, the romance would be unbelievable and everyone would get around it.
Yeah.
Whether you're a Saint or you're not. If he was to get sacked by his club, it'd be a real shame. But we've seen it before. Voss.
Buckley was on the ropes.
Buckley was on the ropes.
I mean, James Hird
had
to leave under different circumstances, but it does happen. You know, I agree. I think you roll the dice.
Yeah.
I think to keep a club legend, the greatest modern day player they've had.
So you're appointing him?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It would really come down to the presentation, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But you know, if you gave him an A and Rats was an A+, I think you'd take halves.
Yeah.
I think he'd have to dish up a C grade presentation for you to say no.
My last one I pose to you, Bob, is from me as well. If Eddie Betts and Sean Burgoyne were to suit up at the Gold Coast Suns next year, with Ruffy joining the coaching staff at the Gold Coast, that would be an extremely beneficial option for the Gold Coast Suns going forward. Wisdom or waffle?
Wisdom. Yeah, I mean, Eddie Betts can still kick goals, but he'd probably be required to give a bit of off-field coaching. It would more be the training and game simulation stuff during the week, where Eddie Betts would do the damage.
What it takes to be a professional.
Yeah.
Because he learnt the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. And Burgoyne is the perfect person to roll. I mean, you can roll him off the half forward or half back. Hodgie at Brisbane style.
Yep.
We only expect you to play 12 to 15 games. Lead by example when you can, but make sure that you are the club man. You know, stay on the park as much as possible.
And he's Mr. Professional himself.
Yeah, I like it. I really think they'll set a good example for, you know, a lot of those young guys. Like, Tuke Miller has a chance to become a proper leader.
Yeah.
I really like his game. I think Fiorini has a chance to do that as well. Obviously, spewing they lost Lions.
Yeah.
But their small forwards are...
Does this keep Jack Martin?
It's an interesting question. He's been strongly linked to my club.
Yep.
Sam McClure said it was a done deal. He said that a month ago.
Yep.
So, you know, I don't know.
But it's Sam McClure we're talking.
Yeah, exactly. The waffle prince. So it's hard to say. I do think that other than Dan McPherson has emerged as a bit of a sort of small half forward for Gold Coast this year, but short of that, Alex Sexton is their next most dangerous forward, but he's not a proper small forward, proper small crumbing forward. So they need someone like Eddie Betts to develop whoever they've got waiting in the wings as that bouncy, lively, wiry small forward.
I've got a crazy hypothetical for you here. Could it lure Buddy Franklin up there?
If there's a way to do it, they should.
If there is a way to do it.
Look, I think if there's a way to do it, the AFL will be more involved in that process.
Yep.
They will be like under the table payments to pickers to make sure that happens because that would maybe save, you know, their drowning baby.
I really like that Buddy twist.
Yeah, it would be good. I don't see it happening.
I've got another twist for you.
Jesus.
Cyril, out of retirement.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nah, he's done, isn't he?
He looks like he loves going walkabout. Doesn't mind eating snacking on a bit of turtle or something like that.
Nothing left to prove.
Yeah, he's cruising, mate.
Yeah.
He's cruising. He's the best Rioli that's ever played the game. Funnily enough, Gary Lyon made a bit of a gaff on the couch when he goes, Willie Rioli might finish up as one of the top 3 Riolis of all time. And I thought, that's possible.
Yeah.
That's highly possible.
Yeah.
He's a great young player, man. Still got a long way to go, though.
Forgot about Morris, hasn't he?
No, well, he had Cyril, Morris, and then Willie.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so he might finish top 3 or knock off like Dean Rioli and
robbed.
Yes, I think Cyril's just enjoying retirement, man, the right way. You know, he looks happy.
Yeah.
Looks comfy.
Yeah.
Up as an assistant at the Tiwi Bombers, so good on him.
Yeah, good on him. Alrighty, Bob. Well, that was another awesome edition of my favourite and your favourite. Let's be honest, Wisdom or Waffle. It's time. I can see it in your eyes. They're watering up. You're that excited. I'm nervous. This is my nerve-wracking moment of the week. It's Bobby's Compare the Pair.
Compare the pair.
All right, each week I give Jack 2 player profiles and force him into a decision that confuses the crap out of his brain. Now, in the prelude, you said, where does the rough rank?
Yep.
I want to know whether he's better than this legend. Jared Roughhead versus Alistair Lynch. What's your initial thought?
It's Roughhead because, it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Roughhead's also one of my favourite blokes in footy too. Quite love the man. Look, Bob, you're just going to have to look at the numbers here.
All right, well, we'll go through some of the numbers. Look, the reason I picked them, it's hard to find a comparison with Jared Roughhead because of his versatility.
Yeah.
I said to you he's probably the most versatile player since Adam Goods, but Adam Goods is clearly better than Jared Roughhead.
Yep.
I was trying to think back. I'm thinking, who? I ended up going with a forward because Jared Roughhead excelled as a forward.
Yep.
Their height and playing weight is identical, Lynch and Ruffy. Lynch has made the 300 club. 306 games, so a slight games difference. Ruffy will be on 283 after the weekend. But the stats. Both have had a career best performance of 8 goals.
Yep.
Roughhead did that twice. Lynch did that 4 times. Goals per game, 2.07 versus 2.03 in Lynch's favour.
Yep.
Marks per game, 4.65 versus 4.66 to Roughhead. Contested marks, 1.8 versus 1.12. That goes to Lynch.
Yep.
Brownlow votes, 43 to 57. Roughhead's favour.
Yep.
Lynch has also thrown 4 sniping elbows and 6 useless punches. Roughhead happens to be a gentleman, so he wins that one.
Yep.
Lynch was a bit of a dog.
In
the back end of his
Just
playing
ask
days.
Wakeland.
He bobbed and weaved.
Wakeland it was.
Bobbed and weaved pretty nicely though.
Yeah.
Look, Ruffy has clearly, he's going to have more disposals, contested possessions, goal assists. He's a midfielder at times, a ruck rover in the purest sense. He also has a greater win percentage for games in his career, despite Lynch.
Really?
Yeah, by 10%.
Okay.
So it's significant.
Oh, it's not that unbelievable.
Well, Lynch was at
Because
Fitzroy.
Hawthorn was so good in those years they didn't quite make it.
Yeah, I think Lynch spent 5 years at Fitzroy.
Yep.
So in the dog days of Fitzroy. Obviously, Ruffy's got more tackles and clearances as well. Look, the accolades though, 4 premierships to Ruff and 3 to Lynch. Both of them were short tenured captains. 2 years for Ruff, 3 for Lynch. Lynch has 6 leading goal kicker titles. Ruffy has 4. Lynch's honours wrap up with only 1 All-Australian, believe it or not. Ruffy,
Really?
Yeah.
That's rough as guts.
Ruffy has 2 All-Australians and a Coleman, which Lynch never got.
Wow. Well, Lynch was playing along in the era of Plugger and
Exactly.
Matty Lloyd.
And Gaz.
Yeah.
So, look, both of them triple premiership players at a minimum.
Yep.
Both of them absolute standout premier forwards for the clubs they played. Generational. Arguably one club players both. You can probably fairly say that about Lynch.
Yep. Ancillary, who would win that grand final?
Oh, it's fascinating.
0-2 Brisbane? Or
It's fascinating. Brisbane...
15 Hawks?
Brisbane for me because they're actually harder.
Tougher, yeah.
Yeah, they really were.
Playing with ball in hand, Hawthorn, but tough as guts in the middle.
Yeah, Sam Mitchell would have...
Voss Hodge.
Voss Hodge. And Sam Mitchell would have nightmares if it was Voss Mitchell. Nightmares about that matchup. He wouldn't be...
Not to mention Acker and Black.
There you go.
Luke Power. Oh dear, Brisbane for me.
And you go, oh, we're going to just plonk Ruffy in there. It's like, well, Leper's going to have something to say about that.
Yep.
Real matchups all over the park. So Mal Michael on Buddy or whoever else you want to put up for. It's going to be crazy and stuff.
Then, Lynch and Bradshaw.
Yes.
Lynch and Bradshaw, Buddy and Ruffy.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So
one.
My question was, who ranks higher on the list of all-timers, Ruffy or Lynch? But it seems like you're leaning strongly towards Jared Roughhead.
Yeah, Roughhead, because he was my era. But
I mean, the stats are so similar.
Yeah, that's no disrespect to Lynch.
No disrespect.
Nah.
But think about how much time Jared Roughhead spent in parts in the ruck.
Yep.
Many games in defence.
Yep.
And as a proper ruck rover, to have equalled Lynch's goals, or averages, marks averages, to have surpassed him in Brownlow votes, to have beat him in leading All-Australians, and to have won a Coleman medal when Lynch couldn't. I think that is what sets him apart.
Yeah, and I'm a softie for sportsmanship and gentleman-like behaviour.
Oh, bonus points for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to mention, remarkably, surviving cancer and returning to football at the elite level and playing well as well. It's Roughhead for mine. Yeah. But, mate, you are delivering absolute gold in this segment, Bob. So, well done to you, my friend.
Yeah, no, look, I think Ruffy deserved a wrap. I didn't know how else to do it. I thought I'd put in a compare the pair where we could, at the end of it, clearly say that he is better than this guy who's up on a legend pedestal already.
Yeah.
So Ruffy's clearly a Hall of Famer for me.
Yep, and you mentioned to me on the phone earlier today that Roughhead would be an incredible asset for any club, on any line as a coach in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, he could be a line coach for mid, back, or forward. Absolutely.
He could be a good head coach, would you think?
One day, if he's interested. Yeah, I think he's got the right demeanour. Yeah. He's got the balance between seriousness and larrikin.
Do you see a media career for Ruff?
Not with that head.
No, radio.
Radio only.
He's very funny. He's very witty and dry.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, I love the guy, man. I love the guy. And it's hard to say when he played for Hawthorn, but you know, you gotta give him his dues.
All right, mate, well, moving on. It is time, that time of the week, where I submit my lottery ticket, bend to your whim, and follow your financial wisdom. It is time for Jack's Multi.
Yeah, flip out your wallets, boys and girls. It's time to put all of your money on the multi. And, as always, from now on, we've got Bob's multi too. But I'll run you through mine. My first leg, Jake Lloyd to get 30 or more on Friday night.
Like it.
Paying $1.45.
Nice.
A little bit of value there.
Yep.
And he racks it up. Got leather poisoning, that fella. This is my risky one for the week. It's Carlton to defeat St Kilda at the MCG, 1-39.
Yep.
It's paying $2.40.
Good price.
Not bad. My third leg. The famous third leg of mine. My third leg.
Turn it up.
Not bad. Good choice.
My third leg is Brisbane. Head-to-head against the Cats, paying $1.80 at home at the Gabatoir.
Nice.
Don't mind that. I think they'll get the job done. My fourth leg, West Coast. Head-to-head against the Tigers at the MCG. A little bit of risk involved here.
Oof.
It's paying $2.43. I like that.
That's nice.
It's nice. My fifth and final leg, my boy, Josh Dunkley to get 30 or more against the Giants, paying $1.50. Add that all up, $22.83. Not a bad one there. A little bit more conservative from mine.
Mate, you've toned it down by about
toned it down.
$40.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
nice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Looking for a win.
Yeah. I'm looking for a win.
Off the back of a successful Bob's multi.
Yeah.
So anyone that jumped on, you should have made $300 profit. So get ready because it's time to load up again. Melbourne, Sydney, try bet. Either team under 24.5. $1.62.
Nice.
Roll that into the next leg. Matty Crouch to get 30 plus against the Pies, $1.45. Eagles versus Tigers. I've also taken the Eagles head to head at $2.43.
It's nice, isn't it?
I don't think it's as risky as the price reflects.
Yeah.
I think it should be a lot closer to even money for these two teams, to be quite honest with you. The next leg is the Giants and the Dogs. I'm going to take the Dogs.
Yep.
At a line of plus 20.5.
Okay.
That's $1.40. So when you bundle it all together, it's paying a straight $8. If you backed last week's multi, do what I do and load up 25% of the winnings. If not, chuck a 50 on it. You'll get a nice little $400 return for your pineapple. So that's my multi for the week, mate. And as always, Jacko, what do?
We gamble responsibly.
Not really, but... look, we'll check the tips before we head into the match preview. Mate, 8 last week. Nice, solid 8 from you.
Very happy with that, mate.
I did have a 1-point lead. I got let down by not only my boys, GWS ruined both of us.
Yep.
And North, I ended up taking North. That was foolish. They were insipid. So...
Good word there. Insipid.
Now, you lead me by 1 vote.
I'm back, baby!
This is getting interesting.
It's getting very interesting. A bit of a change of lead. This is exactly what you want running into the business end
I like
of the
how
year.
it shows that I have intelligence. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it doesn't. So, all right, let's head into the match preview.
Here we go!
Friday night. I know you're not happy with this being on a Friday night, but they deserve some spectacle. It's Melbourne versus Sydney at the MCG.
To be fair, probably thought at the start of the year it's probably going to be a big game.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 finalists, but
Yep.
yeah, bit unlucky. So, who do you like in this one and why?
Melbourne at home, and I don't really know why. I can't really separate the two. They're both pretty crap, man.
Margin?
10 points.
10 points.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to
50
take...
to 60.
I'm going to take the Swannies.
Okay. Yeah.
This is my one where I try and get one back on you because it's. I mean, there's a few close games this weekend, but
Tough.
That's one of the ones that could very much go either way.
Yep.
I really don't know how either team wins this game.
It's one of the 9 that could go either way.
I think Gawn dominates, but Heaney will probably step up. All Sydney need are some of their young midfielders to go head to head with Melbourne's out of form midfielders, and they'll be right in the hunt. Next game of the round, it's Carlton versus St Kilda. The battle of the caretakers, so to speak. At the MCG, 1:45 on a Saturday. Who do you have to win this one?
Carlton. I have Carlton to win at home. If it was at Marvel, I'd be taking St Kilda. But Carlton at the MCG. And that is pretty much the only reason. And I think Patrick Cripps and Sam Walsh are the difference.
Yeah, it's a good call. I'm also going to take Carlton.
Yep.
Mostly because it's a home game.
Yep.
I also think they'll get the crowd factor.
Yep.
St Kilda supporters don't mind Marvel, but they'll probably get drowned out by the Navy Blue Army, I would have thought. There'll be a lot of Carlton supporters turn out for this game.
Yep.
And Teague signing imminent. So that might give them the boost they need to get over the hump this weekend. The next game, first v second, we've got Brisbane hosting the Cats up at the Gabatoir. Big game, big call. Who are you taking?
Brisbane by 30 points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Brisbane by 30. I think this is their game where they show us that they are proper flag contenders. And I think Geelong have just been a little bit exposed as of late. Not last week. But, Freo exposed them. Fremantle.
Agreed.
Yeah, they're a bit flaky.
North exposed them for a half, to be fair.
Yeah. So they're a bit flaky, and Brisbane are so red hot, it's not funny. So Brisbane for mine, and they'll win by 5 goals.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm trying to think of the last quarter Brisbane lost.
Yep.
Whereas you're right, between the North game and the Freo game, Geelong have lost more quarters than they've won.
Yep.
Or broken even. So, they haven't really sold me
Yep.
that they're still a number one team.
Well, they need to do something huge in the next few weeks.
They do. This is their chance to make a statement.
Yep.
I just think that the momentum and the home ground advantage, Brisbane will run laps around them with Geelong's slow ball movement.
They're selling out the Gabba again. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic stuff. So I'm going to take the Lions as well. I think it'll be a bit closer. I think it'll be under 20 points though.
Okay, cool.
Next game, it's the Crows versus the Magpies. It's over at Adelaide Oval. Who do you like in this one, mate?
Collingwood. Yeah, Collingwood by about 25 points. Adelaide are no good. I've said this. I've been on the record. I don't rate them at all. They are a sinking ship, and they're sinking fast. Collingwood really need to kick their ass into gear, and I think they will this weekend.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I will take Collingwood as well. I think the Crows are lucky that Darcy Fogarty produced 5 goals.
Yep.
Without that, they would have gone down by 30,
40 points.
Yeah, pretty easily. Tex kicked 2. One was from the free kick against Shannon Hearn.
Yep.
For bundling it over the line.
He has looked better, though. Tex.
Yeah, he has looked better, but, he was the only other multiple goal scorer other than Darcy Fogarty. So, it's tough to say that they can replicate that just because they came within a sniff of West Coast. I don't think they can do
Brody
it 2 weeks
Mychek
in
can
a row.
have a day out saying he's running hot ball.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Next game, it's North versus Port. This is an elimination final for Port Adelaide. Who do you have to win this one? It's at Marvel, Saturday night. What's your tip?
Port by about 6 goals. Yeah, they're going to keep... I don't want them to because it doesn't bode well for us in our finals run. But, Port will be far too good for North. I've got a bit of a doomsday, though, for Rhys Shaw. They lose by 10 goals. This appointment looks a bit shaky.
Yeah, look
but it is round 22.
It's got to fall.
So he's got a full preseason to get it right.
That's got to fall back on the players.
Yeah.
It has to.
Yeah.
I mean, John Worsfold's been in the crosshairs, and we'll get to our game next, but, some of that has to fall back on the players. They're the ones out there. They've got to make sure that they don't fly the white flag too early on. I expect North to respond here, but I think Port are looking really polished the last few weeks.
Yep.
So they're ready to play finals.
Yep.
They're itching, and I think the desperation will get them over the line, and I think they'll win by about 30 to 40 points. So I'm with you on that one. The next game is Fremantle versus Essendon. It is at Optus Stadium. Who are you taking in this one, and why?
I'm taking Essendon.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yay!
Yep. I'm taking Essendon to respond. It's more so that they just need to win. They need to. I mean, they got Collingwood. They need to win at least one more game. And no better opportunity than flaky Fremantle Dockers. Backs against the wall. I think Heppel, the likes of Heppel, Merritt, String is going to be a hungry pit bull.
He might not be flying over.
Scratch that. He'll be a hungry pit bull watching from the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. In his commission flat in Coburg.
He's touch and go. Jesus.
That's a bit rough. He lives in Docklands. He lives a nice life. Yeah.
Yeah, there is reports that he won't be flying over because of a sort of hamstring complaint that he developed really late in the game.
Spewing.
Very spewing.
So, Fremantle for mine? Nah.
Yeah, honestly, that might be the difference. I
didn't know that information.
Yeah, the team's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think that Fremantle backline, if they field that highly inexperienced backline, personally, I would play for the Bombers. This is just me using my bias. I would play an extra defender, throw Hooker forward, and have him outwork one of their defenders. I reckon he'd be a lock to kick 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Kale Hooker against an inexperienced backline.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Bombers because, and I want it for you, mate. We're mates.
Yeah, I'm going to tip the Bombers. We have to do something.
Yep.
We have to.
Yep.
I'm going to put my heart and soul on the line here, to be quite honest with you. If we lose, I fucking give up. I honestly give up. Yeah. All right, next game to kick off Sunday. It's another doozy, 4th versus 3rd. Richmond take on the Eagles at the MCG, the home of their victory last year. Who do you like in this one, mate, and why?
Eagles by 4 points.
Oh, classic!
Classic. And, am I prepared to say it? Depends on the draw of the finals, but we could be looking at a grand final preview here.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's highly
They're
possible.
the two best teams in the comp for mine. So
Right now?
Yeah, right. Oh, are they? Brisbane are pretty damn good.
We'll find out next week.
We will. We will know
Yes.
more. But, look, off recent history, yeah, they are the two best teams in the comp. Yeah. So, West Coast, away. And they'll win by 4 points in a classic, Bob.
I think this
Your
is
tip.
fascinating.
Yeah.
They both have twin towers.
Yep.
They both have
This is so
highly
exciting, man.
experienced, explosive backlines.
Yeah.
So getting through Grimes, Vlosten, Hooley, those guys have been fantastic the last month. That's not to sell short McGovern, Barras, Hearn. You know, it's
This is the most exciting game of the year for mine.
this is the best, most evenly matched teams on paper
Yep.
of all year. This
Yep.
game, I really don't know. Flip of the coin. I bet on the Eagles.
Yep.
In the multi, I think I'll stick with them.
Okay.
I think they'll try. This is their statement game.
Yep.
Geelong's having theirs up in Brisbane. I think this is theirs to show that they are ready for September at
Yep.
the G. They're going to make a stand, and I reckon that they'll win by 20 points.
Yeah. Nice. This is goosebump stuff. I can't stop grinning. This is an exciting game of footy, man.
Well, this one's
And
going to
this
give
is why
you
we love the game.
shivers down your spine, mate. Next game is the Giants versus your boys. This is for all the bickies, mate.
Yep.
Who you tipping and why?
And this is not because I go for them. It's because I'm confident. I think we can get the job done. I'm tipping the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you're in better form.
Yep, we're in better form. We know what we have to play for. We need to win the next 2 games. No better time to get GWS than at the moment. They're not in form. There's question marks over players being in or out at the moment. Bit inconsistent. We've got real continuity with our players at the moment. So the Bulldogs, and I think we'll win by about 3 goals.
Yeah, I like the pick, mate. GWS definitely have to respond.
Yep.
They'll be missing the cattle to respond in the fashion that they'd like to.
Yep.
And this is for all the big bickies.
Yep.
So if you're going to have any chance, you must win this game.
Yep.
The week after is a bit more winnable.
Yep.
But this one...
Got tickets as well. Going up to Ballarat.
This one is the one.
Yep.
So I'm going to tip your boys as well. They've really showed some heart and soul stuff. Forget the Bombers.
Yep.
The weeks before that,
Yeah.
you've actually been pretty good. So
Yep.
I'll take your guys. The last game of the round, it's not as exciting. It's Hawthorn versus the Suns at Marvel. 4:40 on a Sunday. They won't get many turnout for that one, despite it being Roughhead celebration. There'll
Yep.
probably be 40,000 Hawthorn supporters there.
Yep.
And that's about it. So who do you like in this one and why?
Hawthorn. And I'm going to tip a fairy tale. Jared Roughhead will kick 3 or more goals.
Yeah,
Yep.
I reckon they play him out of the forward line.
Yep.
Ruffy to kick a bag.
Yep, a bag. An old-fashioned Ruffy bag.
Yep, I think we'll
I'd
get
love him to kick 9. Set the career record.
6 would do. 6 would be lovely.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
would
get
be
a
nice.
few out the back.
Yeah.
Few short 15-metre passes that would usually be set shots into his mitts.
Yep.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Be a good way to send him off.
Hawthorn by 60 points.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be an absolute flogging
Yep.
there at Marvel.
Yep.
All right, mate. Well, that's all the rounds coming up for round 22. Before we sign off for the night, as always, I'm going to ask you, what are you most looking forward to this week, Jago?
It's Richmond West Coast for mine. I can't wait. In fact, I just can't wait. It's going to be great. Also, what I'm looking forward to is I'm emceeing a wedding on Friday night, Bob. It's gonna be
very exciting.
Yep. Thought I'd slip that one in. Bit of self-promotion. Available at your request, ladies and gentlemen.
God.
But no, West Coast, Richmond. Can't wait for it, Bob. What are you looking forward to, mate?
Mate, I'm looking forward to the Bombers' response.
Yeah.
So it's very personal looking forward to, but yeah, that response has to be there.
Yep.
I expect it. I don't think any team, short of Gold Coast, rock up and cop that 2 weeks in a row. So a response is on the cards. How great it is, yet to be determined, but that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Your worst case scenario, mate?
Port beat North Melbourne by 10 or more goals. Yeah, the Reece Shaw appointment felt a little bit premature, considering he's not long out of the game. He's 37 years old. And, what was he, 4-5 going into his appointment? Or 4-4. Yeah, 50% or just under.
Yeah.
Like, great start. Yeah, look, it's concerning. A little bit concerning. Might ring a few alarm bells if they lose, if they get pumped again. So yeah, that's my worst case scenario, Bob. What's yours, mate?
Mine is that Sunday is spoiled. Ruffy either does an injury,
Yep.
or Hawthorn lose.
Okay, yeah.
I would hate, we're sending off modern day champion.
Yep.
and for something to go drastically wrong.
Yep.
So like a bad injury, Chris Judd style or something like that. You know, fingers crossed
Still
it
breaks
doesn't
my heart
happen.
about Juddy.
Yeah, it you know, and if Hawthorn got beaten by Gold Coast, oh God forbid.
Yeah.
There would be no sympathy. There'd be no let up.
No.
At their headquarters, they would have supporters banging down the door. So that's my worst case scenario. Now, before we do sign off, must be said that news today that Graham Polly Farmer has passed away at the age of 84, surrounded by his family and friends. Absolute legend of the game. Hall of Fame inductee, the inaugural inductee. Captain of the Indigenous team of the century. Absolute icon of WA football. Also played 100 games for Geelong, in which he mentored some of the other greats that football club have had, and AFL legends like Sam Newman. So, highly decorated career.
Yeah, and the one and only Bob Davis recruited him. He was coached by him. That's elite stuff. That's amazing, legendary stuff.
Yeah, name littered throughout history books everywhere. Go over to the Facebook page, the FATSIDE Footy Podcast, and check out our homage that we've paid to Polly Farmer with his resume on there. Absolute legend. So sad to hear that he passed away. But got to the ripe old age of 84. So good innings. From
Absolutely
Polly.
Fantastic, mate.
And as always, you can jump on our Instagram, see some of Jackie Boy's work. We're going to be up on SoundCloud, YouTube. Make sure you guys get involved. Comment if you're a Saints supporter. Get involved. Would you rather see Robert Harvey or would you rather see Brett Ratton? So, lot to take away from this week. It's been a great podcast, Jacko.
I loved every minute of it, as always, Bob.
Of course you have. I'll let you do your sign-off before the fat lady warms up her pipes again. Thanks again, mate.
Good night.
And that is it.